All right. So things are kind of a hot mess behind me here because we're still trying to move in and get settled. So you have to excuse all that, ignore it. But oh, gosh, where are we? So I don't know how many are familiar with the show Lost or Game of Thrones or any kind of series like that where you kind of catch it in the middle and you have no clue what's going on. So I'm gonna try to like quickly in like a minute or two sum up what's going here for those of you that have just joined. Um, so back in 2013, bought my house, paid in full. Paid my taxes at settlement in January. You have to excuse my allergies, of course, all the dust from kicking up and everything. It's a mess. So bought the house 2013. Taxes paid in full in January. Yeah, they were roughly $6,000. My settlement sheets are out there. You can look at them. 2014, or no, that was January of 2013. October 2013, got a bill from the treasurer for like close to $1,300. Unknowingly, paid in full. Didn't question it. It was out of question. I was new to all this. No experience. So, paid that in full. So now the treasurer paid twice that year. 2014, get the bills again. This time, my school taxes are close to $9,500. Again, paid them in full. It says it right there in electronic records from the tax office. They acknowledge it. They acknowledge it that I came in and paid in full. But I also have the canceled check from Fulton. I have the tax bills to show how much I paid. So they went from 6,000 to 9,500. Explain that one. I don't know. But here's the thing. Then in 2015, got a spinal injury. So, okay, taxes, unknowingly, I didn't know at the time, going back and doing the spreadsheets and doing all the comparisons, taxes were overpaid. So there should have been like a credit there. There wasn't. By 2016, I got a tax notice. My house was going upset for close to $30,000. Do the math. We weren't even there 3 years. And all of a sudden, I'm getting an upset notice threatening to sell my house. My house was bought in full because it was the perfect house for Bobby, who's disabled. Because when I got older, the bottom of the house where Tyler lived was a 2-bedroom apartment. We were set for life. The kid would never need anything. He would never require any assistance. As I got older, if I couldn't take care of him, I was taken care of. We took care of that. We did. So, my main point in all of this is our taxes were paid. And if anybody wants to question that, I can give you the records. I can do whatever you need me to do. My taxes were paid. So, for anybody and everybody that watches this, you need to understand 2 things. If you live in this county, this affects you. Because this tax director, Jonathan Shuck, and I have called everybody out by name in my posts and in my videos in a public forum. You don't have to join this group to see or hear what I say. It's public. And there's over 225 members in this public group where I've called these people everything but a child of God. Not one has come forward to dispute it. Not one. Not one has defended themselves. Not one is saying she's wrong. Not one has done shit. So, their silence is deafening. So I want you to understand something. Jonathan Shuck allowed my tax bills to be transferred to a fake address in Chester. The posts are up there. You see the envelopes. You see the fake name. You see everything. I put it all out there. So Nathan Crothmer and his wife, Anna Crothmer, who works for Keller Williams, and again, I'm putting the names out there. You can come after me if you like and prove me it's fake. Prove me what I'm saying is a lie and sue me for defamation. I dare you. I dare you. So, it's all out there. Even Ed Hayes, the scumbag's attorney, saw the videos. Dignazio, I called you out too. You're a fraud, a thief, and a liar. Jerry sold me down like a sacrificial lamb. This is a ring. This tax director in this county pulled my home off of upset 5 times. 5 times. For somebody that doesn't live in this county. for somebody that hasn't paid a dime, gave fake checks from PNC. I have the recording, by the way, Miss Solicitor, who claims they were negotiated. And you want to bury these facts. I asked you for my tax records, and you sent me the right to know records that I sent last year. I don't want the records of the two sales that I already know about, because I already found a lot out that I already need to know. But there you want to go digging your cheap freaking heels in and burying the records. So I'm calling you out too. Solicitor, I dare you. You want to claim those checks were negotiated? You want to claim they're real? And that this is legal? Prove it. Send me copies of those checks, same number checks that I got that said to Judge Verway, the other asshole. Yeah, said it. You're too a fake, Verway. Come after me. You can't take nothing from me anymore. So now I'm really dangerous. Now's the time you want to shut me up, because I won't. Verway, you know, they were given to him. That's what gave this punk my house. Verway knew about the mortgage fraud, because I told him in the courtroom. That was my closing statement. I went dismissal until pending investigation. This guy claims he got a mortgage 3 days before an alleged bid for the exact amount of this bid on my home, 6 months before he had the deed. From Stone Bay Holdings, also Kerry Fakes, Steve Lloyd. Yeah, I know all your names. Come at me, I dare you. Because you're all fakes, you're all frauds, and it's a big, huge ring. And piece by piece, I'm pulling it back. You two are fakes. Kerry Fakes, yeah, good last name. Used to work for PNC in operations. God knows what that is. Could be operations of anything. Who knows, she could be a janitor. But anyway, checks are from PNC. So if they're real, county solicitor protecting our commissioners, who, by the way, the ones back in 2022 that were in office, namely Maxwell, after I went to Jonathan Shuck on August 30th of 2022, and I can validate every word that comes out of my mouth. On August 30th, 2022, after I got this quiet title bullshit complaint from Ed Hayes and his punk client, Nathan, you know, I went to Penn Township. And I said, you know, what's this about? You know, he's suing me for rent. He's suing me for quiet title. Show me your rental, you know, procedures, your codes, your whatever. She looked at me like I had 14 heads. Okay. Went home, looked at the records, found my house on upset, my taxes unpaid. Still. So I go to Jonathan Shuck, who claims this punk bought my house at upset for $212,000 with fake checks. Demand the records. But this time, you know, I went to him the other times too. The sheriff was at my house every year handing me upset notices because the taxes were never paid. He transferred my bills to a fake address with a fake owner and a fake name and every other thing fake about him. So I go to him and I said, you want to tell me why my taxes are delinquent like this? So this goes to a third party. You know, Bobby's behind me in his wheelchair and he has nothing. And we're depending on Medicaid and welfare to survive. Where does that leave us? That you're pulling my home off of upset for this con artist, this criminal, but alleged to have sold it out from under me for $40,000. A $500,000 home that I paid in cash for. You know what he did? He looked at me and went, guess what, asshole? That was your biggest mistake right there. Because if you think, even though I'm out of the house, and you did what you had to do to get me out of there with your con artist and your sheriff and any other person you could pay off to do this and get this done, if you think I'm going away, you better think again. I ain't going anywhere. Because you know what? There was another woman who called me that her house was also taken. Her deed was transferred the same day as mine. Ironically enough, she also has the same West Town receipt for a title search. Since when does the tax office do title searches? Oh, and by the way, if you need a title search, they're filed with a prothonotary, idiot. And next time you do a handwritten receipt, mine was for $50. You forgot to apply the tax on the distribution sheet. You also forgot to say who did the title search, why the title search was done, what liens there were. All that shit that belongs in a title search, you forgot. You're an idiot. Says Unker, your loyal minion. So, here's the thing, and here's my point. You know, I didn't do all of this to put myself out on display. I didn't do all of this to fight because, I don't know, I wanted my house again. Of course I wanted my house. Of course I wanted to protect my children. But you know what? The biggest part is these guys are doing this left, right, and center. There are more than, I don't know how many properties from the September 9th, 2019, December 16th, which is not my house. You can't find it anywhere, but go ahead and find it. December 16th, 2019. Multiple properties transferred to LLCs, which is why I asked for the right to know records solicitor that you sent me as my tax records. No, my tax records are my tax records. And by the way, I'm still waiting on those. And the PNC checks that you said negotiated, front and back. Good copies, not the shit that I got. Oh, and by the way, I have a 45-minute recorded conversation with PNC verifying they're counterfeit and they bounced. So, county solicitor, you better get your shit together and decide which side you're going to play on here, because I'm not going away. So the woman who, had her property stolen as well, also paid in full. Also taxes paid, but didn't get a dime credited to her account. Imagine that. Are our accounting skills that bad in this tax office? Really? If they are, then y'all better be worried, because this is going to happen to you too. But oddly enough, I got a call this week from another homeowner. Property was also transferred the end of June 2024. But guess what? To another LLC. So I pulled the deeds for the tax claims on June 28th, 2024 that were transferred. There's 3 LLCs. Were they the only ones at the tax sale? I bet the lights dimmed when I set the right to know records for those. Didn't they? Here's another kick in the ass, people. There's an upcoming sale, September 9th of this year. Explain to me why the Archdiocese has over 200 acres, a quarter mile from where my house was in Penn Township, on an upset list. How's the Archdiocese, the richest entity in the world, owe back taxes on 200 properties in little old Penn Township? Questionable. So are the other 497 properties, which, by the way, the county signed contract or started bidding with Bid for Assets years ago. The sale from the last year's sale in 2023 and this sale, when I checked the Bid for Assets site, strangely enough, they're in person only. And they're supplying this notice only as a courtesy to their registered users. So, let's get the long and short of this. David Unger and Jonathan Schuck are running on, these auctions for all these properties in the tax building with no oversight. Zero. It's not done by an auctioneer. It's not done by an outside entity. It's not done by shit. It's Unger and Schuck overseeing it. The records from my tax sale are junk. They're junk. So you can't prove a lien. You can't prove payments. What I can prove is that this scumbag allowed the taxes to go delinquent, close to $100,000, while he transferred my tax bills to a fake everything. And you allowed them to stay delinquent, and then took me out of my home for a non-resident and a criminal, a scumbag, and his wife who works for Keller Williams. So Nathan and Anna Crothmeyer get my house while their taxes are delinquent. So how does that affect the county? Here's the thing. All that debt didn't get paid for years. Years. They didn't apply my credits. And this guy didn't pay a dime. He used counterfeit checks to get my house. And then Verway, as I'm saying, there's mortgage fraud here. It's obvious. Dismissal pending investigation, period. End story. Within 15 minutes, he signed my house away to this criminal. So that scumbag's in it too. And I'm not going to try to get political in this at all, but riddle me this. They're all Democrats, including Maxwell, who, by the way, called me when Verway had a second distribution hearing, which Warren Kampf brought me to by constable with a one-paragraph letter that we were there to object. We weren't there to object. Verway screamed from the bench that we're there to agree to the numbers, and he did what he wanted anyway. So, when anybody sends anything to your house for this county, it comes by the sheriff, not the constable. Because the constable was confused as I was. And he's like, don't take any shit. I said, trust me, I won't. Thanks. I have 1 week to be at this hearing with objections. We're supposed to get the same rights as them. But here's Warren Kampf, the attorney for the tax office, another snake, telling me, I have 1 week and I'm expected to appear so I can put my objections in. But delivered by constable, not by sheriff. Because Sheriff Maddox was still in office then. Wouldn't want her to know now, would you? But we get Dykes in there. Now remember this, people. The sheriff has their own jurisdiction. Even the state police that day at my house couldn't stop them. And Verway, as you lumbered your fat ass across my yard, you disgusting asshole, we could hear Bobby screaming from down at the street, and I live on 2 acres. There were witnesses there, and there were a lot of cameras around that you didn't know about. Captured every moment, including the one where you say to lock his father up and put cuffs on him when he was screaming and running to his son. You're a disgusting pig. So, what got me started on this today? And, I may be jumping around, and believe me, today is the funeral for Tyler's friend, so I'm doing the best I can. I will update if anybody has any questions. Bobby's caseworker comes yesterday. The one that was in the video is helping us, and I said, who called you to be there that day? She said, the sheriff. He was concerned. Don't be fooled, Katina. Don't be fooled. Because if he was concerned, and here's another important point I want you all to realize. If he was concerned, he wouldn't have been there. Because the sheriff is elected by us. He is to protect us, our constitutional rights. That's what the sheriff does. That's how important that position is that you elect him into. Because he has his own discretionary power. He has his own jurisdiction. Even the state police can't stop them. They did what they wanted that day, and they knew. They knew that there was fraud involved. Dykes, you knew. You knew. You incompetent shit. You knew. Verway, you fat ass, I saw you pull back in my driveway and have a little powwow with the guys around the truck. So, you're on the guy's cell phone in my driveway. The criminal's dude, you're on his cell phone. Not the county phone. Not the county phone, which you had one that you picked up immediately after hanging up with the criminal. Picked your county phone up and called somebody else. Which I have on recording as well. So, you had discretionary power. Voted in by us. I was at your office, I don't know how many times. I called, I wrote, I even spoke to you directly when you called me after getting my email. But your concern was Bobby's post. That if you came, it was going to be a shit show. And you were concerned for him. Give me a fucking break. Didn't you ever talk about my son like that, you scumbag? You weren't concerned for him. You were concerned with getting me out of there and covering up your bullshit. And as you lumbered, because we just want to talk to him. He doesn't talk. You knew that. You knew that because I told you that on the phone. When you told me his post was alarming and distressing. Really? Give me a freaking break. You're disgusting. And then you call his caseworker, I'm concerned. Don't be fooled. These people are elected by us. And this is what they do. They have their own jurisdiction. You cannot stop them. But we put them in place because we put them in there by electing them. By electing that we thought they were going to do the right thing by the people. So, hopefully we have a bunny hop 2.0 and we get them out of there sooner. But when elections come again, remember, when you elect the sheriff, remember that you're electing somebody who holds the entire ball in his court to your constitutional rights. And if he does not stand by the Constitution and stand by our rights to property ownership and to whatever else they handle at the sheriff's department, then don't elect them. It's important to know that. Because what this sheriff did that day, he had the discretionary power not to do. They knew there was a state police investigation opened. They knew that the PNC checks were found to be counterfeit. There was even a sheriff in my bedroom when I was getting the stuff for myself, as Darius Dex. As I was getting my stuff, what little stuff I could grab in the moment, told me, I saw your videos. I saw your posts. And he goes, I get it. And shook his head and looked down and went, I know. Whoever the guy was, thank you. But these people that we put in these positions are to be taken seriously. Josh Maxwell, he called me. Well, yeah, his assistant called me. Verway ruled in December after camp sent a notice by one paragraph letter by constable getting to Verway's courtroom. That was in December 2022. Verway rules 10 minutes. Distribution stands. How you having distribution when the checks are fake? Makes no sense to me, but okay. So, then, I just forget where I was going. Oh, that's right. Maxwell. Of course, like there was a bunch of people that were starting to get involved in social media. Maxwell's assistant called me, and she says, how can we help? I heard what was going on. Josh wanted me to call you. How can we help? We're so concerned. You can help by fixing it. You can help by stopping this bullshit. This is such fraud, it's unbelievable. She called me about 2 hours later. She said, I talked to Josh, and he said, there's nothing we can do. The judge ruled. Really? The judge ruled? Well, that's funny. You're saying there's nothing you can do. But was there something you could do back in August of 2022? Because that's when I went to the tax director and stood in the assessment office demanding it in front of witnesses to have the records from the tax sale. It's in litigation. No, it's not, asshole. It's not in litigation. Give me the tax records. Give me the proof. Did he buy my house or not? Yeah, he paid certified checks. Okay. Where is it? Show me. Show me. That's all I've been saying the whole time. Banging on the tax doors. Show me. You can't. So who's your boss, Shuck? Hemming and hawing, just like Dave Unger. Like the day that I went to get my tax records recently, the week we were evicted. Walked in the tax office. Unger lumbers up to the window. Help you. Yeah, can I have my tax records? Never said my name. Never said nothing. Our attorney's working on it. Good. Who's your attorney? The solicitor. Good. What's your name? I don't know. You moron. So, solicitor, yeah, they keep throwing you under the bus. So there you go. So Maxwell's like, the real judge will be can't help you. Here's where the solicitor comes in again. So after I left Shuck in the assessment office, I went up, knocked on the commissioner's door. That would have been Maxwell Masovitz at the time. No answer. Some woman comes to the door, tell her what's going on. I have a 3-inch binder of documents in my hand. Tell her what's going on. Bobby's behind me, completely distressed because Jonathan, I'm like, well, what happens to him? When this dude, like, takes my house and everything I own, what happens to him? Pointing to Bobby, and he goes, you punk. Worst thing you could have done to me. So, go to the commissioner's office, this woman answers him. I can still see her face. She's got this, dark, like, almost jet black hair, bob cut. So, she says, I'm going to walk you down to the lawyer's office. I said, whoa. This isn't the lawyer for the tax office, is it? Because I've already dealt with them. She says, no. This is the solicitor for the lawyer for the commissioners. I said, okay. So we walked down. I'm talking to 3 women at the desk when you walk in. And, a woman comes from the back office. And, I'm showing her everything. And I show her this letter from D'Ignazio, which is also up there, that has a docket number on it. I can't find this docket anywhere. She goes in the back room, prints out a docket sheet. Or not a docket sheet, like an event sheet. And she comes outside with it out to the lobby. She shows it to me, and the look on my face immediately told her I knew nothing about any of this stuff. So she said, you didn't know about this, did you? I said, no, I didn't. And I said, here's the thing. I said, there's a letter in there, for the commissioners. There's everything you need. This was in August of 2022. So I say to Maxwell's assistant in February, after the judge ruled in December, didn't you guys have the binder that I left there in August telling me the judge ruled there's sorry, nothing to do? I'll get back to you. Calls me back in another hour. Yeah, we had the binder, but again, I'm sorry, there's just nothing we can do. Are you kidding me? This is an elected official in a position that oversees the tax director, who, by the way, also contributed to Verway's campaign fund. So, put the pieces together. Do what you want with it. You can believe me or not believe me. I don't care at this point. What I do know is that I received another call from somebody who had their house transferred. So, we'll see what those right to know records say. But the lights dimmed when they got that one. But anyway, we're at 26 minutes. So that's the long and the short of it. But you're telling Bobby's caseworker, Sheriff, you were concerned? What an insult, you pig. Yeah, and I mean that in a literal sense. You're an idiot. Don't ever put my son's needs or disability in your mouth, ever again. You're disgusting. And Dykes, you're an idiot. And that's the other thing, people, I want you to understand. Like I said, I've been on here calling these people everything but a child of God. Ed Hayes, Warren Camp, Jerry McCormick, Mike D'Ignazio. All of them, Shuck Unger, all of you have been called out. Nathan and Anna Crothmer. She works for Keller Williams. Not one person, not one, has come forward to dispute what I'm saying, because they know I can back it up with fact and documentation. They haven't disputed what I said. They haven't filed a defamation. Nothing. I dare you. Bring it. Please. Or prove me wrong. Show me the checks. Show me the documents. Show me the liens. Show me anything. By the way, show the Archdiocese their tax lien before you sell their property too. If it's theirs, I don't know. 497 properties. It's gonna be sold without witnesses. Something going on here, people. Because I'm not the only one. And I'm not gonna shout out anybody in this group that gave me their confidence. But trust and believe that now that, he took the house and Shuck just thinks it's... Well, guess what? Bobby's needs are not coming out of your federal tax dollars and out of your federal Medicare and Medicaid dollars that are already depleted. So, if you don't live in this state, you live in this nation, it affects you. It affects your tax dollars. It affects your Social Security. It affects your Medicaid. It affects your Medicare. It affects your taxes. But in this county, it affects your 911 system. It affects your first responders. It affects every taxpayer and every property value in this freaking county. So, don't do it for me. If you don't believe me, then call and ask what the hell is going on here. 497 properties. The list is up there. I put it up. It shows up as advertised lists. 497 properties in Unionville, Tough Kenneman. These aren't just Coatesville properties this time, which, by the way, they're all sold for $1,000 at judicial sale, but they're worth hundreds of $1,000s. I have those too. And by the way, when they sell a property at upset, they have to clear that through the school board. This never went through that, and we all know Avon Grove School Board wasn't notified in June of 2020. We were all in COVID. These are just common sense facts, people. But, here we are. Another person says his taxes are paid. Jonathan Shuck, the same thing to him. Those are your rights. Everybody in this county, every single person. If you have a parent, a relative in this county, and, specifically a parent, that they're elderly and their house is paid off, because that was once the American dream, be careful, because that's your generational wealth. They've taken those too, because Nathan took a special ed teacher's property in West Whiteland, turned around and sold it for $500,000 the same day that he took mine. So he went 2 sales and won 2 properties worth over $1 million. Give me a break. Doesn't happen. So, no. This is what's happening in this county. And I'm calling it out. Day by day by day by day. And if you live in this county, if you have a relative in this county, if you have elderly parents who paid off their home, anything, kids, disabled, anybody that lives in this county that owns a home, paid off or not, it affects you. It affects your property value. It affects your taxes. It affects our 911 responders. It affects our parks and recreation. It affects our streets, our snow removal, everything, our schools. Don't we all pay enough taxes already? That we don't need the sale coordinator and the tax director who don't even know enough to not use a handwritten receipt with Westtown Searches as a tax claim office right at the top corner for $50, but can't apply the taxes on the distribution sheet? I mean, come on. This is child's play. You know, like, this is what I do for a living, is document auditing. So, I already took out one major player in this county. And if y'all did your homework, you'd know what I'm talking about. One major player's already in jail. Or at least was. One of the biggest national scandals there was in this county. By yours truly. So, who's next? Because now, it's not just the other kids I'm fighting for. It's my own. And you got the wrong one. So just because I'm out of the house, and if you think I don't know what's going on with that house, everybody, I do. I do. I get phone calls, I get texts, I get messages, I get everything to tell me everything I need to know. But a lot of it I find out on my own too. But if you think I'm going away just because you got me out of there, think again. All you did was disturb the hornet's nest. Because especially when Bobby's caseworker came yesterday and said the sheriff called, he was concerned. Please. He was more concerned about what he was going to have for lunch. Like, he wasn't concerned about shit. So, the sheriff, I'm calling you out too. Dykes, Vitale. You're all going down my name, and I've called you all but a child of God. In a public group where you don't even need to join to see what I say or do. They're on YouTube. They're everywhere. Dispute it. Prove me wrong. Try me. I dare you. Show me those PNC checks with the same numbers on them from Nathan Crothamer, who says that's how he bought my house. That's what got us where we are today, was those checks. Solicitor says they were negotiated. Sister, put your ass behind it and prove it. Because if not, I'm going to start calling you out just as badly. Because there's very few county officials in this county that I will stand behind when this all goes down and say they're the ones that deserve to be reelected. That I would actually elect for president if it came down to it. Anybody else? Don't have me on your campaign trail. If you make it that far. So anyway, do I sound angry? Yes. Do I sound bitter? Yes. Who wouldn't be? This isn't just me. This is multiple people in this county that have lost their homes. That have lost their generational wealth. You know, that are afraid to speak up. People have had their property lines moved. They've had their taxes, their assessment on their taxes, which, by the way, Warren Camp also handles. Look at the assessments that I put up there on my property. Right before it was transferred to the Kevin Jackson Group. You know, the fake asshole that has my house now. So, which, by the way, the new real estate laws, that'd be why it's not being advertised. You can't sign documents for an open house when you don't want anybody knowing. So, I'll keep you all posted. I'm at 35 minutes. I'm not going to hold you for much longer, you know. I will continue to update and, you know, hopefully this goes up soon. But, you know, thank you all again. Like I said, tonight is the funeral for Tyler's friend, and, you know, that was one of the biggest heavy-hitting things, too, when this happened. And I get a phone call, and I'm 40 minutes away from my son that used to live in the same house with me, that got separated from me as a family. before I was ready. That was the other thing, Sheriff. You took my kid, my rock, and I hear him sobbing on the other end because his friend was just killed, and he's not with me. That's another notch on the headboard there, sir. I ain't stopping. So, tonight's the funeral, so if this is a little all over the place, forgive me. But I'll repost, and I'll keep you posted. This isn't going away, people. Not by a long shot. All I am is more pissed off now. So, hope y'all are doing well. Better than I am, anyway. Like I said, excuse me, we're still moving. So, with that, peace out. Alright? I'll let you know when that happens.